Hi, everyone. We're going to be getting started in just about 5 minutes. So get ready, get seated for another amazing session. A big welcome to another live breakthrough session for I Don't Believe in Astrology. While we all get seated and situated, tell us in the chat where you're from. Let's see, where are we tuning in from? California, Minneapolis, California again, Michigan, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Quebec, Vermont, Texas, all over the world. Norway, I love seeing that. That is amazing. Georgia, Pensacola, a lot of Michigan in the house today. New Mexico, Chicago, hey. Oregon, Minnesota. I'm loving this. We're so happy that you're all here for this powerful experience with us. Whether you're joining us live or on the replay, thank you for being here and committing to seeing yourself and your world from a new perspective. Whether you're completely new to astrology, maybe even a little skeptical, or a lifelong astrology enthusiast, everyone is welcome. Remember that the more you participate, the more you'll get out of this experience, so keep it up. Let's go over a little bit of housekeeping. First, be sure right now that your chat settings are set to everyone, not just hosts and panelists. Also important, if our email lands in your junk folder or promotions folder, be sure to move them into your primary inbox and add info@deborahsilvermanastrology.com to your email contact list. And if you're joining us live outside of Zoom, welcome. Please make sure you're tuning in to join us at IDBIAlive.com to fully engage in this experience on our watch page. Also, a friendly reminder to everyone, this event is being recorded and a limited time replay will be available for you in the I Don't Believe in Astrology Come Study You course. You'll get an email each day once the replays are ready. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post your question in the chat, and a member of Team DSA will do their best to respond to you in the chat. For those of you on the replay, you can comment in Come Study You. If you have a technical question or need support, you can also email our support desk at info@deborahsilvermanastrology.com. And for those of you interested in learning how to pull your own birth chart, here are the quick steps to do that for free. Sign up for a free account at astro.com, select your profile, and then click Add New Astro Data, and then fill in your birth date, exact time, and location to create your chart. Simple as that. And we are running a giveaway, and keep in mind our giveaway system is experiencing a technical glitch, so we're going to keep you posted on that. But the more you share and participate in these sessions, the more entries you'll get towards winning an amazing prize, like a reading with Deborah, a reading with a DSA certified astrologer, or a spot in level 1 of applied astrology. And when you're joining us live during these live breakthrough sessions or catching the replay, we'll be sharing a secret code, and that will earn you 5 additional entry points when you enter the code on that giveaway platform. The link to the giveaway tracking site is found in your I Don't Believe in Astrology Live Come Study You course. Winners will be announced on our special live virtual celebration taking place on Tuesday, April 8th. So stay tuned for an update from us on when that giveaway tracking platform is going to be all set. We are not immune to Mercury retrograde, even as an astrology company. Okay, so here's how each day works. Just as a reminder, we'll meet here live at 8 a.m. Pacific for a wisdom watch party. Then we'll host a live breakthrough session at 10 a.m. Pacific and then at 1 p.m. Pacific, and that will happen Monday through Thursday of this week. On Friday, we'll start at 8 a.m. Pacific for a Wisdom Watch Party, and at 10 a.m. Pacific, we will host our final live breakthrough session for this event series. In each live breakthrough session, we'll start with an immersive meditation and prayer. Then we'll go over the day's theme before we jump into a conversation with our guests. Afterwards, we'll lean into elemental and astrological medicine, then invite a lucky volunteer or two to join Deborah for a live astrological laser session. Visit your Come Study You course for even more event details and replays. You will only have access to that course for a limited time unless you've opted for our VIP upgrade for this event series. And for our daily laser astrology sessions that happen inside these live breakthrough sessions, you'll have the opportunity to work live with Deborah and your chart as a volunteer. So please use the raise your hand function in Zoom, enter in your birth date, exact time, and location, and a member of Team DSA will reach out to you so Deborah can call on you later during the laser astrology sessions. We'll select a few of you to potentially work with Deborah live. Getting selected does not guarantee you'll be called up, but we will strive to get to as many of you as we can. And remember, once the meditation starts, submissions will be closed. When you're chosen to come on screen to work with Deborah, Shauna from Team DSA will bring you on to video. Please make sure you accept that Zoom invite button as a panelist. During the transition, you may see a black screen or it may look like you're getting disconnected, but please know you're not being kicked out. You're just getting moved into a different role on Zoom. And then for those of you who really resonate with this session's theme of how does a relationship stay fresh? When did you lose your faith in a relationship? What will it take to reclaim your belief in love? Now is the time to have your birth information ready and raise your hand if you'd like to be selected as a possible volunteer participant. Okay, so thank you for sitting tight as I make sure you have all the info you need to maximize your I Don't Believe in Astrology experience. And in case you haven't met her yet, let me tell you a little bit about Deborah. Combining nearly 5 decades of experience as both a psychotherapist and astrologer, Deborah Silverman has cultivated profound expertise from maintaining a private practice to founding a comprehensive astrology school. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, Deborah always says you don't have to believe in astrology because astrology believes in you. This event series, alongside her new book, represents Deborah's mission to show you how astrology can transform your inner and outer worlds. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Deborah Silverman.
Thank you, Lisa. And all of you in this room, I'm so grateful that you're here, and that this is why I think this book is so important. You guys believe in astrology, and the book does include a deep dive into what's your life lesson and where's your rising sign. And as a beginner or advanced, it's a new version because everyone has new ways of putting the language. And the people that don't believe in astrology was who I wrote the book for, that aren't in this room, because there's such a limited concept for so many people in the past. Have you noticed, you guys, how popular astrology is, including who you're going to meet today? It's a couple who I just love the story of when I walked in their home through Blue, actually. We met through Blue. It was a random occurrence. And I'll let us tell more of the story when we get to it. But there was a synchronistic event. I'm going to share that part where I met Garen. And you know how I said this in the last session? There's sometimes where you meet people and you go ding, 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 whether that's a past life or it's resonance or it's just a frequency match and there's an enhancement. It's almost like when I'm with my friend Ash, who's going to sing for us at the end, when I'm sitting next to him, it increases my frequency. So it's association to people. This is very ear. Who do we hang with? And how is the nature of our relationship either increasing our voltage and making us so happy, or dragging us down and getting us caught in dynamics that don't serve? This is a big question, and everyone comes to an astrologer from all over the world, no matter who they are, and they ask the same question. Am I going to fall in love? How do I make this relationship work? Am I in the right relationship? And how do I open up my heart? Because essentially that is the goal of the human experience. You come down here in water with no idea how you landed with that family and that story and that diagnosis and that background. You clean up your water, which is what we just talked about: praying, asking for help, meditating, doing the work. And then it gets to air and you're like, I'm going to tell you a story. And you change the narrative from the victim consciousness to the position of someone that remembers what we did in our last session. I did come here to heal. My exact story with my exact family. So when I met Garen, we had that chemistry game. As soon as he opened the door, I could feel his Cancer antennas reading me, because that's what Cancer is. He's a water sign, and they feel people before they even start talking. They can read, they get a whole holographic image in their bodies. So that's what happened. So I think I passed his Cancer test. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Deborah said, tell me about your grandmother. And he said, Big Mama? And I said, she's standing right here. Sometimes in the name of intuition, People that have strong water can feel presences. And where once this was embarrassing and no one talked about dead people being in the room or the ability to go beyond the veil, now here we are in 2025 and we can talk about it. So I saw the grand, I didn't see her, I felt her so strong. And it was her birthday. So not only was she present, but it was her birthday, which opened up his heart, that made me cry, that made a bridge right there. So I just want you to know that there is this magical formula that occurs under the name of kismet or synchronicity, or the people you met, Lisa and Shauna and Melinda and Nicole and Alyssa, all the people behind the scenes in my company. We have a karmic track. We signed a contract. This is all error. Error is when the mind asks the question like, how come I feel so connected to you? Or why do I feel so scared of you? Or why don't I want to talk anymore? Or why do I talk all the time? This is the essence of astrology. So I'm introducing you to air today in this session about relationships specifically, because you can't just talk to yourself. Well, some people do, but air requires another person to listen and respond. And why do we talk? Because we so want to be understood and we so want to be seen. This is why astrology is so exciting. I want to penetrate the veneer, the outer. I loved when I asked Blue, what do you do? And she was like, well, whatever's required. Like she doesn't identify with the speaker that she is or the poet that she is, or she identifies with her essence. And this is air. Air is the ability to articulate, on one hand, all the distinctions of your chart. Yes, I'm a Gemini. Yes, I have Moon in Aries. I get super excited. Yes, I'm Libra rising, and colors are everything to me. And there's a part of me, as they traditionally would project onto Libra, that I'm into relationships and I want relationship and everything's about partnership. And it's true. With the condition that my observer came on, I reduced the codependency version of being a Libra and I increased my awareness, and it liberated me from the needy part. So, yes, in the book, I translate not all Libras are these needy people looking for approval. They evolve to become choose, make really good choices. The same thing is true with water signs. Not all water signs are emotional wrecks who are so sensitive, who stay at home and get caught in addiction. That's Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Some of the water signs are healers, and they know how to pray, and they know how to bake, and they know how to play house, and they know how to take care of the kids, and they're caretakers for the mom. They are not just victims, as we heard from Ash Ruiz. So now we're in air. Air is where relationships occur. And so when I went to meet these two people, Garen and Blair, and walked into their home the very first time that we had that strange magical encounter, which is how you know kismet's around, it then moved into them wanting to work with me. And you'll hear more about that as we enter. So all this is to say, the water cycle of life is the inner world of emotions, feelings, nonverbal, depression, anxiety, elation, and ecstasy. There's a range of the water element. The air element, you guys, is talking, thinking, writing, studying, but the low side is not following through, not remembering, not doing your homework, forgetting what you were thinking about, getting indecisive, not following through. How many of you can relate to air? That's why you're in this group. You love all this information. You love the podcast. You bet. Okay. Let's now go on to, we're going to bring in our guest. Is that true?
We're going to jump into a 3-minute meditation and then we'll bring on our guests.
Okay. So this is a wonderful opportunity right now. Once again, in honor of the High Priestess, where everything should begin. I'm going to ask all of you to stop for a minute, especially you air signs who chat while we talk and who multitask, and it distracts you and me and us, but we kind of like it. We don't, but we do because we want to be connected, but we keep on talking, but we didn't remember what we said. And that's just got to stop now because we're about to meditate. Okay. Are you ready? Once again, we bow our heads. We close our eyes, we take a deep breath in our own rhythm, hold it at the top, and breathe out consciousness. Just here in your head, I'm waking up. I'm changing my narrative. The air is free. I am free. My mind is the servant to my soul. Just repeat that. My mind is a servant to my soul. Imagine to the left of you is a chair. You're going to put your mind in that chair as though there was a little imaginary seat, and you become the director, the governor of your mind, and you turn to your left and you say to that seat, could you sit down, mind? I'm listening to Deborah. I don't need narration. I need to slow it down. Another deep breath. Breathe out awareness. I'm aware right now in this moment of the quiet and the ability my mind has to follow instructions when given to it by my soul. And my soul is sitting in my awareness now, and my mind is in a seat. And I am becoming more and more awake to the remembrance that I am here. Take another deep breath. As a vehicle to breathe consciously, like the dolphins, like that music we saw. So I can turn on my ear and turn on my observer and start to watch myself in this encounter, in this moment, in this cyberspace moment, as a frequency, a vibration who is in unison, in chorus and choir, with hundreds of people sitting in their room in front of their computer in this moment, praying and breathing in. Ready? One more deep breath. Breathe in peace and breathe out calm. You are now consciously using your awareness to let your energetic body take on a frequency one notch up. I want you to actually feel a little taller. My mind is my vessel to be of service to my soul. And now I want you just to say, I forgive myself for my past relationships, the good ones I hold dear to my heart, the dated ones I take a deep breath in, and I breathe out forgiveness. I forgive myself and I forgive the person. In this moment, I'm having fresh air surrounding my space. And then just put your hand on your heart. I long to have healthy relationships. I long to know the truth of friendship. I am the kind one, learning how to connect in the name of love, starting now. And so it is. Aho. Now slowly open your eyes, sitting upright, and identify yourself. I'm the kind one. I'm learning about the awareness of how to be with people. Just take that in. This is the high road of air. And these two people we're about to meet, when I met them, I'm returning to that original story. Let's see, can we bring them in?
Absolutely. Let's bring them up. Welcome, Blair
Two of
and
my absolute, this is what we call a power couple, and I have all the evidence right here in the charts. Garen, hi, Garen. You're a double air sign and you don't even know it. And there's Blair. Oh, and you're in two different places. Is it true?
Garen's in Costa Rica and I'm in Texas.
I love that. Okay, you guys, did you hear the beginning? I talked to Garen about Big Mama. I don't think you heard that part, did you? So I just told the story of the first time that we met, that I walked in the house, we made eye contact, your little cancer antenna system scanned me. Whoop, I felt him scan me. And then he was like, oh, I like her. I mean, he actually said to me, uh-huh, come on in, because I could feel I passed the test. And then as we were standing there, I suddenly said, tell me about your grandma. And that's when the magic began. And that's when we discovered it was her birthday. And this is called synchronicity. So that was the entrance, which I love that story so much. And then Blair, who I didn't know at all, brought to us by Blue. I just had her on. Blair and I began our friendship in another story of immediate chemistry. Like I was so intrigued. Who is this woman in this beautiful house with a little girl named Soul and this man who's clearly got the healing gift? And she's his wife, but she seems so powerful dressed in her little outfit that she just came in from her workout. Okay, ready? So you guys tell me the story. I come to your house. Go ahead, Blair. We're sitting at dinner the next night. I think I invited myself to dinner. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, so Deborah comes into our house and she's with Blue, who you guys just met. And they walked right in. And the next thing I know, Deborah and Garen are talking to each other, and me and Blue are playing with the baby. And 40 minutes later, I was like, do you guys want to come into the house? And so they walked right through the house from the front door out the back door, and they're standing outside. And they're talking and talking. I keep looking, and it's really odd for Garen is very out there, but he's not really like social for the first time he meets people. He has to feel them out.
Cancer, he's water. He feels them.
And so the next thing I know, I think Garen's crying and I'm like kind of playing with the baby and running around. I was like, what is this woman doing in my house? And they're crying outside and they just met. And then he walks in and he said, oh my gosh, you just saw Big Mama. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he goes, and I called my mother and you'll never believe it. Big Mama's birthday. What's happening? And she goes, I think we need to come back for dinner. And then out they walked. And I was like, who is that? Like, I think some lady named Deb. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know who Deborah Silverman is. Okay. And then they come to dinner and Deborah sits down and me and Blue are chatting like two little girls and Garen and Deborah are talking. And the next thing I know, Deborah snaps her fingers at me and she goes, you, points at me. You're the whole reason this whole thing isn't working. You're the whole reason that this family's bottlenecked. And everyone goes silent and we all kind of look around the room and she goes, this, all the abundance and all the things that you guys want to manifest for your family, you're the reason it's not working. And no one really knew what to say. And I said, I know. And I don't know what to do about it. And she goes, I know exactly what to do. You guys are going to come to Hawaii. And I said, okay, great. And they left the house and I still don't know who Deborah Silverman is. But I said, if that lady can see that, we'll go to Hawaii. So it was in October. And the next day, Garen and I booked our flights. We found childcare and we went to Hawaii for 10 days and it changed our life. Well, it changed my life and it changed our marriage.
And Garen, tell us your experience of what you got from the 4E and watching that process.
To be quite honest, what I got most from the 4E is a side of Blair that she never showed me before. Because a lot of the stuff in the 4E I'd done 1,000 times over. It was just you had different language. So I was like, I'm like literally a walking 4E. And then, but there was this part that where Blair showed a part of her little girl I had never seen. And I really got to experience. It just made me, it allowed me to have a deeper sense of compassion for the areas that I would say she's angry or that rage thing that would like activate my bruised little boy. But then when I saw what was underneath the anger and rage, I was like, oh my goodness, this precious little girl has probably never had anybody to sit with her inside of it, like inside of that, and be patient enough to work through all of the different phases. And so that's more of what I got from the 4E. But honestly, Blair's right. Like I'm my bullshit meter. I don't like just be like, hey, come into my life, come into my family. So I don't read what people say. That my language is energy, frequency, and vibration. And the moment I could just feel your energy and the ownership of your energy, you weren't trying to be somebody that you were not. And that's one thing. I don't care what you do with your life, so long as it's authentic. If it's like a false representation of you, I really don't have time to hang out with you because then I got to bring that false energy over to my family, and I don't want to put up with it. So you just were so authentic and real and raw, and that's how I am. So it was like two peas in the pod. It wasn't even about the age. It was like the energy just makes sense. So I was a yes to whatever you had to say because Blair was looking for an elder and I was looking for people who can meet me on a level where I don't have to constantly babysit energy and be like, I'm like, I want to play with people who are doing big shit in the world. And you just happen to be one of those people.
I love it so much. And the next thing we knew was Blair, and this is what Garen had predicted. She studied astrology. She's done all 3 levels. She's now a brilliant, you said all this, Garen. You're like, watch her go. 100 readings she's done. So part of this conversation is error. It's interesting that you both, you know this, you both have moon in error, which means that communication in your relationship, they have a power relationship. It's in your, I did the composite chart, Blair. I haven't even told you this yet, of the 2 of you, and it's a grand trine in fire, which is why you work out every day. I put the 2 charts together to create a chemistry of what would be the 3rd person. If Garen and Blair had a baby that didn't look like a baby, but it looked like a relationship because they have 2 babies, what would it be like? You've got a grand trine in fire, and the coolest part is that you have Jupiter in Cancer. One of the strengths of your connection is your children. And boy, are these 2, I just want to say, I have reclaimed hope for the future, having met Blair and Garen and seen how they process their relationship and they communicate and they take time to have date nights. They figured out the code. And how did that happen, Blair? What would you suggest was the turning point that let you get into this relationship with such conviction and stay the course? Because so many of us in this room either don't have a healthy relationship, don't have a relationship, can't figure out how to talk about the hard things. What gives you the ability to communicate with Garen and keep the relationship healthy?
Well, the first thing is the resonance thing that you had talked about that you felt with Garen. I felt that too. So my soul spoke before my logic. And then it was, I look at Garen and I was like, I really picked a life he helps me evolutionize my soul. Like he's the answer. So the commitment was that I said, if I'm going to go through hard things and I'm going to show all of me, every part of me, the Scorpio, the secret parts of me, the ones that I don't want to share, the ones that I don't want to talk about, the underneath parts, when we did 4E in Hawaii, Deborah really had to get into my face to really challenge me to let her into
Protected, yes, yes.
It was I could very logically explain traumas or explain hard things that happen, but she didn't want me to just logically give her the story. She wanted me to get into the little girl as if I was telling the story from that point of view. And when I met Garen, I said, it was the first time that I said I could be safe with him. And there was a trusting, but there was I challenged it a lot. I mean, I challenged him. He'll tell you that I tested him. Is he really going to stay? And I would challenge, like, why don't you just leave? Or, there was a little cut and I said, well, why don't you? And I would really challenge because Scorpios, I push the thing I want the most away. And he kept saying to me, when I chose you, Blair, I chose all of you. And that was the wounded part of me that said, oh, it's safe to be every part, the unhealed part and the healed part.
It's so beautiful that somewhere, did you recognize, that was a question we asked the last couple. Garen, when you first met Blair, did you recognize her?
Well, I met her on several different occasions. I met the very first time I met Blair. I was a wounded boy trying to be a man with no real role models, cheated on every girlfriend I ever had. So she wasn't even on my radar during that phase of my life. But then when I desperately wanted a relationship with my 15-year-old daughter and nothing that I did worked, and then that's when I got into the emotional intelligence, the communications course, darkness courses and everything. And I deeply wanted to know, what is it about me that my daughter doesn't trust? And then I started hearing other women who also had the same aspect about their dad. And I would ask all these women these questions like, well, what do women want? We want to feel seen, heard, acknowledged. We want to feel like we matter in the world. And there's the safety thing. And I was like, man, I've never made a woman feel like that in my life. But it wasn't until I got that I had to create a new identity for myself, which was, I am the most powerful representation of who my daughter will marry one day, even though she won't even give me the time of day. I created a new identity and I showed up for the identity I created, because there was no man in my life, even the married ones, they were freaking dusty as hell as well. It's like they were just leaky sexual energy. There's nobody who modeled somebody that I actually wanted to be like. So I had to create it. And this is why identity, how you see yourself, is a physical manifestation of how life is going to show up for you. I created a character and I showed up for the character, and I had my daughter within a month. I was like, oh my goodness. When my daughter came into my life, that was the first woman I had ever let in close. I didn't even let my mom in close. When my heart was wide open, that's when I met Blair another time through a healed heart and through healed eyes. It's simultaneously she was going through her whole healing journey. When I met her, I was like, there's something about this woman that I don't even recognize her from the past, but with the healed eyes, I was like, on our first date, I told her, I can see you being my wife. I can see you being the mother of our children. And I was brave enough because I wasn't punching above my weight class. There was something that was inside of me that I've never felt with any woman in my entire life. I could see a future. I could never see a future before. I was never going to get married. I was never going to have other kids. But when I connected with Blair, I was like, well, shit, I'll have kids with you. I'll be married to you. I don't like, I listen, I'll throw all these relationships that aren't really relationships. I was like, none of this shit compares to what I feel on the inside. And I told her on her first date.
We love that story. So here's the story for all the people in this room. Imagine Garen's imprint as a man, the ability to do the self-healing, and a woman like Blair who knew and recognized him, felt safe, did her work to struggle with it, pushed him on the edges, did the little test game. That's what Scorpios do. And this is possible for all of us. Men who are going to heal and women who know that they're doing their observers on. That's what you and I, Blair, did. You turn on your observer and you go, uh-oh, I'm testing him. Uh-oh, I'm testing him. Instead of me being safe, I'm wanting to see. And this is part of the dynamic of astrology. That's 101 Scorpio. And Garen and his bullshit meter, that's 101 Cancer. And in your chart together, both being water signs and both having moon in error. As I was studying your charts, I was like, of course they talk. So he has healed. Thank you, Garen, for doing the work and representing so much of the future. This is so your Aquarius. This is exactly what Garen's promise is, that he would come into this life. He's Aquarius rising and bring us the future version of what society will look like when men honor, first of all, their own integrity. You would say it better.
And I want to add something. This is a much bigger conversation than what's going on right now. And a lot of times men get blamed, but it's hard. You can't be what you can't see. The only reason why I couldn't show up for women in a respectful way, because there was no man, like literally not one man in my life to model. Like you can't, like when I was getting a Letterman's jacket when I was a freshman, I was like, I saw somebody with a Letterman's jacket. I was like, how do you get that? So I never saw a model. But when I became the model, I saw all of these women changing their relationship with their dad based off of what they were seeing in me. I was like, whoa, women are really powerful. So how can I show up in such a way where I look at every woman through the eyes of my daughter and not through the eyes of my dad? But then when I also hold men accountable, every single time I've held a man accountable for doing some leaky sexual energy type stuff, they're like, oh, I didn't even know that's what that was, because there's never really an example. And so I have to say this because it's not
No,
just
that's so important.
yeah, it's not just on the man, it's on the examples. There's not a lot of examples. So this example is what I called the harmonized man. And that is the man who is sensitive enough to nurture a baby and be with his woman, but also is strong enough and masculine enough to protect his home and do whatever he can, but also can harmonize in such a way, because there's sometimes where Blair, if I'm sick, somebody's got to hold it up and hold it. Blair, that's what I love about Blair. Blair had already developed that aspect. So if anything were to ever happen to me, she would hold down the fort and she would grow it. And I can rest in my nervous system knowing that I have a woman who is masculine that can easily slip into her feminine, who can make her own money and loves being taken care of. So there's this thing about a man should be like this or a woman should be like this. There's something else to it.
That's right. You're in the future. You're in the future. And Blair, I want to speak to it from your point of view. Because in your charts, one of the challenges, as you know, Garen has Jupiter conjunct Mercury. When he gets excited in Leo, he gets so animated. The whole house, I've been staying at their house, you're like listening to him sing in the morning. Then you got the drum over there. Then you got him screaming. I don't even know what he's doing. And Blair has Mercury conjunct Pluto. The Jupiter is the biggest planet in the heavens. I've told you this, Garen, so many times, 100 times the size of Earth, sitting on his head in Leo. Da, da, da. And then the opposite is true of Blair. Blair has Mercury, her mind, connected to the planet Pluto, which is silence and depth and kind of likes to be scared. So they're about as far away from each other. How did you make that bridge, Blair, to understand his personality and not want to change him?
Well, at first it was like, I always joke with Garen, I was like, it was like the battered alley cat. And I was just kind of like looking around, scoping it out, not really sure, is this real? Is he telling the truth? So I was very skeptical at first, and I just really watched and observed. And then I kind of got in there, and then I got curious, and then I would ask questions. And so it's so cute because I'll go down there like, gosh, I feel disconnected to my husband. And I was like, I need to go investigate. And so I will. I'll just go ask. And it's a theatric when he tells me stories. And I was, tell me more. What does that mean? And I would, in the beginning, I wanted him to do that to me. And now I go, can I just be in the enjoyment of getting into Garen's world? And if it comes back, I'm unattached. And so he'll go, I don't even know how to ask questions like you. I don't, because he's the performer and I'm the investigator. But throughout time, if I just lessen the detachment, well, I could really learn from him. I can learn how to actually express and be an engagement in the story when he does ask me a question. And he can be in his observer turns on and goes, gosh, I can learn from her how to ask questions. So it's been, we really have learned from each other a lot of how to, Garen gets so swept away in his music and in his company, Artist Power, and he will be down there, he'll forget to eat. It's a genius, like he forgets to shower. I mean that so lovingly. And so I have to take care of his human because he's just in it. And so I just go down and I go into his world, and that's how we connect. And Deborah had said something very powerful to me in the 4E, and she goes, I get that it sucks that the responsibility is on you. And she goes, but it is. And so she's like, you can either bitch about it, or how can you find enjoyment in it? And so I really took that on because I was like, he's gonna be like this for the rest of his life. So I better get used to it. So I hopped on board.
And the cool thing about your chart together, which makes it work, is that your moon's in Aquarius and he's Aquarius rising. So that's the interest in being different and not getting stuck. Because it'd be very easy to say, Garen's the entertainer and you're the woman, but it's not true. That's just what he said. You're always playing these roles, and there's permission for you to be powerful, him to be powerful. He plays with the kids. You go out and do your stuff. And your company. So I want to say this to everyone. This is hope. It gave me so much hope. It gives me so much hope to be in their home and be around them. Because in the future, in the Aquarian age, there will be the introduction of men who are examples and women who do love to do both. They're male and female without preference. And the whole boundary issue about the sexuality game, which is still classical in your situation, you're really playing an old-fashioned, very healthy example of what is it to be in union with another. But in the Aquarian age, I'm telling you right now, you guys, that's what we're seeing already. There's this fluid otherworldliness that so many people are longing for. At the same time, everything goes, said the astrologer. We want everyone to show up in their color. This is such an important conversation, the rainbow of humans. So all of this is to say, in the name of air, one last piece. I know that Garen has no Earth in his chart. He has one planet. It's his Saturn. It says in my book, the most important lesson for him is in Virgo. And you have Saturn in Earth, but you are a master of Earth. So where Garen, I've watched him learning how to get structure, and you learning how to relax the control knob of you. Can you talk about that a little bit, Garen, what you learned about him?
Yeah, and I wanna break it down because there are probably some people on here that are like me. You start speaking the astrology stuff to me, and I'm just you tell me one number, and I'm like I'm lost. But Blair, she can remember signs and sequences, and she's like a genius, like Harry Potter in that way. I was like, so I would just love to speak to the people who like colors and like analogies and things like that. And I want to break astrology down in that way.
Okay, I'm all ears.
For me, it is difficult to unlearn your language of origin. My language of origin is English. You're not going to be able to unlearn it, but you can learn a new language. So if you approach any form of new anything or any form of new language, like you're just like at Rosetta, using Rosetta Stone for 10 minutes a day at Starbucks every 15 minutes, it's gonna give you back what you give it. But if you immerse yourself in the language, and so I want to speak to this because Blair was so good at systems and structures and all these different things. I had to create a way for me to think of systems completely different. And so what I did is I used an analogy. I was like, I don't like the word structure or systems, and I don't like the word astrology because it makes me think of structures and systems, but I do like flow. And so what I did was I recoded the word astrology and structure and systems with there is a flow. Everybody has a specific flow to their life. And when you can understand their operating system and how it flows, then you can start to learn their language. But if you want to learn their language, you've got to immerse yourself into their system of flow. This is what helped me to understand Blair more. And just by the laws of proximity, I'm just getting so much better. Like, yes, I have my astrology readings, and like, you're like this, you're like this, you're like this, and you'll never be like this. And for me, I don't want to leave it anything at never. I want to learn just like I learned French. I had to unlearn English in my mind and adapt to a new language. But if you get 1% better in a language that's not good for you, it will actually make every other area in your life better because you've expanded, not make your better your best. I've bettered my worst and it made every single thing else better. And so that was the frame of mind that who doesn't operate off of symbols and signs like that, how I got it to integrate into my body and not leave it in my thoughts is because I'm just so intrigued by how Blair flows. And I want to learn the language of her flow. And so I just spend enough time with her, and then her flow then starts to get off on me, and then I get expanded and she gets expanded. That's basically the way I say the same thing she just said.
I love it so much. That is so air. Air can never fit in a box. They hate following rules. They don't like numbers. They don't want to remember things. They just want to be spontaneous, crazy people who are so free. That's the high road of air. It's the crazy scientist who makes up shit and they get the right answer and they don't even know how and they don't want to know how. That's the highest form of Aquarius. The lower form is the numbers and the letters and the systems. And boy, do we love that, said the Gemini to the Aquarius. So all I want to say is you're looking at a couple who have learned to appreciate their differences.
Oh, yeah.
And where Blair is so good at organization, Garen had to learn. Where Garen is so good at expansion and opportunities, Blair had to learn. And that's the dance of air. Letting everyone be who they are, but mixing the energy, as you said, let the flow begin. And isn't it beautiful to witness a couple who are in love? Is there anything on this world, anything in this reality that's more delicious? So
No.
thank you to so much, Blair. I've been so in love. It's so much fun for me to be in love. Like it doesn't require romantic love. I could sit and watch and listen to the two of you, which I get to do. And when I'm going to Austin, I'm going to be hanging out with you.
Yes, when you come. I can't wait. And what an honor. Thank you for having us. Such a joy.
Thank you so much. And the endorsement of the astrology school. And Blair, can you just finish with that? How has it changed your marriage, understanding he had no earth, even though he doesn't want to admit that he has no earth?
I think it's just it's
What?
a lot of comparison. It's like because I used to think I was like, he's kidding. Like he's like time. I don't believe in it. It's man-made. Like I'm like, grow up. Like I would say not nice things. And then when we were in Hawaii and I would watch him and I go, oh my gosh, he's completely telling the truth. He like has a physical aversion to Earth. And so I had to really it just had given me so much compassion for his makeup and make so much, of course I can teach you how to live on Earth, my love. Oh, I would love to teach you how to be on Earth versus me just continuously being a thorn in our relationship side. And to just have a new paradigm shift about it, have compassion of that part of him. And it just has transformed the way that I look at him and talk to him and
He's turned earth. I've watched him. He's gotten so much better.
much better. For example, when he went to Costa Rica last week, he wakes me up at 3 a.m. and says, I can't find my keys. Can you bring me to the airport? We have 2 little babies sleeping downstairs. Oh, of course I will. No problem. Whereas before I'd be like, no way. And I'd make him pay the whole way to the airport if he doesn't feel crappy enough. And now I'm like, and he was down all the way to the airport and feeling kind of crappy because he was Earth. He did an earthly thing. He lost his keys. Already not being good at Earth. Oh, the best thing I could do was say, baby, I'm so glad that I know where my keys are. I got you. It's okay. And then could you imagine that it could be such a sour turn? And then he's gone for a week and we're fighting the whole time. So
this is such an unbelievable, magical, futuristic formula. I can see it. eventually we're going to know how to have compassion and know each other's charts. Even though you don't have to speak it, Garen, you can feel it. And you know what makes Blair happy. And you hear her requests and you listen. You're such a good listener. I just remember he had no earth in his chart, but he sure had it in his body. You sit next to Garen, you're like, patience, sit still, happy. Now, when he starts dancing and singing, it's a whole other story. But I'm just letting you know there's a range there. There's a range there. And it's not to be exclusive that someone's missing an element because it shows it to your point. Astrology is just a funny language that helps us get closer to each other. And watching you two fall in love again and again and again has been one of my greatest pleasures.
Thank you so much, my friend, and I just appreciate your depth of wisdom and your willingness to be a child, a student, and a leader simultaneously. It's not too many high-profile leaders who have the humility enough to be a student simultaneously, and it's a pleasure to just witness you, just be around you and ride bikes. You're like, oh, let's do this, oh, let's do this, and then when it comes time to be serious, you just like lock in and laser in. And I can relate to that because I'm very similar. So sometimes I feel like I'm hanging out with myself
Because
in
we're
another
both
body.
double air. It's so true. We're both double air, and that's where we match. And what I love so much about Blair is the intense Mercury conjunct Pluto of staring at us. I love that you stare at people, Blair. Okay, thank you so much for being here. We're going to continue on our this was double air. By the way, they both have moon in an air sign. I'm an air sign. We're open-minded. We're humbled students trying our best to evolve for the future of our children. That's why we're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And did I tell you they pray every day before they eat? That these people have such a prayer practice that I watch their spirituality. And I really wanted to share that with you because part of why you're going to get this book is because you're going to be inspired to finding out what is the unconscious principle that's operative, just like you saw with Garen, that needs to be healed. We're going to call out your gremlins, just like I said to her. I didn't quite remember that part. It's you that's the problem, but that's the kind of stuff I say. Okay, introducing the element of air. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Well, that was all three of us. Wow, that's funny. He was Aquarius rising. I'm Libra rising, and she is Jupiter and Gemini. That didn't work. Okay, next. See, that's what air people do. They just make up shit. That was funny. The low road of air, they don't talk at all. Believe it or not, there's air signs that won't talk about the hard topics. They'll avoid the conversation. They'll distract the conversation. They'll not say what's been going on for years. The relationship is dusty, to use his word. We've left behind our ability to update and check in with each other. Are we okay? Do I need to say I'm sorry? Did anything happen? Please let me be kinder to you. Some air people just, they avoid it at all costs. And then the relationship gets stale. And then it feels like you can't remember when you fell in love or why you're in love or why you're friends, and you don't even remember it. So you've got to, I love buying cards and sending, everyone in this team knows this, and sending gifts and saying thank you and updating my relationships and really, really communicating on my text, on my communication to say, I'm so grateful to you. So that's the high road of air, asking for help, just what you heard from Blair, and sharing her vulnerability. I feel like I'm being mean. I don't want to go get you the keys. I feel like you're an idiot. All that exposure. And then after you dump and you do dirty air and you use daggers and you use your mouth to hurt, then you say, I'm so sorry. I did not mean that. That was all my reactivity because you always lose your keys and I feel responsible. And can we update our agreement? How can I assist you to find your keys? Have date night at all costs. These two people, they can't wait to have date night. They're so sexy and they're so in love with each other. And then remember what matters the most. It's not just your connection, it's love. Listen to me. Air. The most important thing in this life is to evolve. Do you know what love spells backwards? Evolve. We're all here to evolve. And the way we evolve, the way we grow, is by opening our hearts and shutting our hearts and opening our hearts and shutting our hearts and getting them broken and gluing them together, and putting them out and putting them in. It's a very active experience to be on this planet in the name of evolution. I'm interested in reading a book. I'm interested in taking a class. I'm interested in raising my hand. At the lowest level, you're confused, you're indecisive, you don't commit, you don't follow through, you have too many books in your house, you haven't read them because you just buy them because you love the cover. On the high road, you read the book, you underlined the book, you asked questions, you did your homework, and you're really practicing the art of using this incredible mouthpiece. 2 ears, 1 mouth, really listening and then speaking from truth. Sorry, Jackie, stop coming for me, she said. Geez. Okay, let's go to our next slide. So I'm going to share with you the air conversation in the book. Are we ready? Okay, when a baby is born, it takes its first breath. Welcome, air. The energies of the stars are imprinted with our very own astrological chart. We're anointed with a name. We hear our first words, the sound of our mother's voice, and we begin the process of becoming conscious. Air is the element of the curious mind as it becomes acquainted with this reality. Air is filled with a desire to understand and learn, Gemini. When we enter school, we learn how to spell, write, read, use our minds, socialize, and get along with others, Libra. School can last anywhere from 14 to 25 years. At worst, unexamined thoughts and assumptions about what at worst, unexamined thoughts and assumptions about what realities is will make for an airhead who follows societal dictates without questioning, all in the name of conformity and approval. That's Libra. At best, this is the inquisitive mind who carves out the individuality, researches, studies greater minds of the past, and cultivates advanced technologies with new societal values that will progress and evolve our species. Aquarius, just like you saw with Garen, he's evolving the species of men, live time right in front of us. That's the high road of air. The low road is confusion. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. I can't make a decision. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't remember. It's so confusing. They just repeat that. I don't know. And the high road is I'm humbled. I'm learning. I'm asking questions. I'm taking notes. And I'm actually going to remember from this book launch that if I read the book, just the first half, here's how people read the book. It's funny. They open up the book. This is so funny. And immediately they open up to their sun sign. Oh, really? That's the ego. That's called, I just opened the book to Esoteric Astrology. Listen to this. The value of astrology then is not its powers to predict what the gods have in store for humans, but its ability to reveal the godlike powers that reside in the depths of a human. The value of astrology is not to have power over, but to reveal your powerful, powerful, powerful awareness as you cultivate and evolve through the willingness to study. I'm here as an example. I'm a double air sign. I mean, I get lost and confused. You ask the team, I can't, how do I get on? Mercury's retrograde. And then all of a sudden, after I do the water, that was the 4E process, which no one addressed. There's a 4E process that I designed that we will be teaching in September in Boulder. If anyone wants to learn in person with me, we do have some spots to come to Boulder, Colorado and learn these elements and follow the 4 elements. And air is, I don't know, it's so fun for me because it's all about communicating in social media and taking classes and reading and writing and taking and watching, scrolling. That's so air. Constantly scrolling with new information. That's like candy, said the little air sign. I could eat Pac-Man rah, 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 information all day long. When in September, said Michelle, all you have to do is write to info at Deborah Silverman Astrology and say, I want to learn from Deborah in person in Boulder, Colorado in September. Okay. Here we go. So the life lesson of air is you've got to feel your feelings. You can talk, you can analyze, you've got Moon in Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius, but can you actually put your hands on your heart? It's what she said was he didn't know she had a little kid in her that was so angry and active and reactive until, because she talked about her feelings, but he didn't see it until he touched it. So the air element at the best exposes vulnerability and says, I'm scared. I'm lonely. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Can you help me? I didn't get it. I miss you. Hard things to say. Next. And this is a life lesson of air. Being in relationship is where you get to see your communication skills, your ability to be understood, to make a decision and stick to it. You know, when I'm with people like Garen and Blair, or I'm with people like Ash, I'm like in my element, so to speak, because I can feel the freedom. And when I wrote this book, all I wanted was for you guys to figure out how to do friendships and how to find your people. but you can't do it until you're comfortable in your own skin. That's the whole point of the book. And the first half of the book is the gremlins, the design faults, the reason why the human condition, just like he said, you can't blame a man who didn't have a father to role model how it looked to let a woman be emotional and not cut her off. You can't role model for a woman how to stand up for herself and say straight up, I want to judge you right now. I'm really pissed off, but I'm going to take responsibility. I'll get right back to you. That's consciousness. That's evolution. That's what's coming for your kids. That's why I'm here. And that's why we read astrology books to, it's like, I always think of it like Windex, like I'm cleaning up that side of my mind. Want me to sell you a Windex bottle that says I don't believe in astrology? The next slide. And here's the medicine. Can you guys stop for a minute? There's almost 700 people in this room, and there'll be so many more watching this after. Whatever you think about relationship, you gave up on it, you're accepting mediocrity, you're settling, you haven't updated your friendships, there's somebody you work with that drives you crazy. If you took the leadership role and said, I'm so confused, how can I be more kind? Just take on the leadership role. They just gave us faith, Blair and Garen. But you have to reduce the judgment. There's how many of you in this room have given up on relationship? I want to hear this. I want to hear how many of you said, I'm not dating anymore. I can't find a man. I am never going to do that again. Listen, look at the signs. I am giving up. I don't believe in men. They are so bad. Just what he said. They really don't have a way of being responsible. I've been so abused. I've been so violated. I'm never going to trust again. Okay. That's going to have to change if you're going to wake up, because that old thought process, that limited thought process, prevents the opportunity for Garen to come find you. Okay. Next slide. Let's see who we get to play with.
Yes, so first up, we have, I believe it's Margie, but please let me know if I pronounced your name
And by the
wrong.
way, sorry, Lisa, if you don't want to do relationship, nothing's wrong with that. Just don't do it from a place of absolute negativity. Do it from a place of free will and choice, and everything changes. Okay, sorry. Is it Margaret?
It is Margaret. Yes, hi.
Hi, Margaret. And you're from Germany.
Yes, I live in Ottawa, Canada.
And of course you're an air sign. Of course we're in air and we would get an air sign. A double air sign. Do you know astrology?
I've had my chart done. It seems a lot to understand.
So that's really a good question. It's air. I'm an air sign, but I talk in very small bite-sized bits. So if we look in the box with English, can you point to the sun? Is it 29, the very last degree? It's only 30 degrees in a sign. You're the very last day, but you are a full Gemini. So don't wonder if you're on a cusp. You are a Gemini. And then we look to see the moon. Right next to it's in Libra. That's also an air sign. So you're called a double air sign. So this whole conversation, tell us, did you relate to what we were talking about? The fickleness of the mind and the readiness for it to study and learn and start things?
Absolutely, yes.
And does
And
it
the
get
books in the basement and the books with things written in them.
and the books everywhere? I know, I love you always know an air sign because they have in their pack, wherever they travel, magazines and books that they aren't even going to read, but they can't live without them. They always have books everywhere. And what have you studied? I see that your mind is so, are you a writer?
I just journal a bit. I'm studying um, with women about the feminine face of God, as it were, the earth, all that sort of thing. As a career, I was a massage therapist for 40 years. So there was a lot of study there too, anatomy and everything, but a lot of physical hands-on feeling things.
I love that. Such a great combination. So there's the Taurus. We're going to get to that later tomorrow, the Earth, that you touch people. Your soul is Taurus, your rising sign. So that's the physical plane and the tactile plane and really wanting to structure. But the rest of your chart is this crazy student who just can't learn enough. That must be so fun. Are you having fun? Because Jupiter's sitting on you. You should be having a wonderful moment in the last few months. Are you?
Um, the last few months have been challenging with politics and everything going on around me, but I feel like I've come out of it and I'm 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 on a new page.
Exactly. This is a very I love that you're here today because Jupiter is just about to go over your sun, which means you're in this very positive transit. That opportunities, even you being here right now, that you're being acknowledged for the quality of your insistent mind who always wants to learn and stay open and ask a million questions. You would be a great interviewer. Did you ever do that?
No,
Are
no,
you
I've never
so-
done that.
are you so curious?
I think I'm curious. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to come up with all the questions, you know? It can be so deep.
Because your Mercury, I see that your Mercury is in Cancer, it's in water, so you feel deeply, but the level of your love for learning and studying must be never ending. Is that
I
true?
don't, that's true. I want to continue learning. It makes my life go round.
Okay, well, thank you so much. You can stop sharing. This is such an example. How old are you?
I'm 71. I'll be 72 in June.
So all the evidence to say Geminis never age, because announcement, if you're evolving and you're loving and you're growing and you're studying, that's enough. That's why we buy books. Are you going to buy my book? I'm counting on you.
I've got it written down, the place I have to go to buy it.
You
Yeah.
can go online. They have it on Amazon. Yes, I can't wait. It hasn't even come into my hands. This is not the real thing. This is an ARC. They send it to you early, and I'm going to get the real one on April 8th, and I will be in, you guys, Los Angeles. So if anyone wants to come to West Hollywood, there's a link that they're going to put here, and you can come see me. Thank you so much for being here, Margaret.
Thank you for speaking with me.
Yes.
I will exit out of this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Up next, we have Sarah joining us.
And let's see Sarah's chart. Oh, she's right on the cusp. Look at that.
Hello.
Hello, Sarah. Do you know astrology?
I'm learning. I'm familiar, but I can't remember it all.
You're not supposed to remember that. That's why our school is so easy. We don't make you remember it. You can just learn bite-sized bits. It's a scary looking thing, this Egyptian hieroglyphic shape that no one knows what it is. But I can make it so it's a fourth grade level when you come study with us. So let's
That's
just,
awesome.
so see how your sun is at 0 degrees. Did you always wonder if you were a Gemini or a Cancer?
Yeah.
Well, you're right on the cusp. Can you point
Yeah.
over there in the box? There's only one day a month that's the sun is at 0 degrees. So see, the degrees are only the one in front of it. Can you point to 0 right there?
Yeah, I
Very-
see it.
So that's the one day of the month that you really are a crossbreed. Half of you is Cancer and half of you is Gemini. And it certainly suggests that you've got an amazing sensitivity.
Yes.
You can feel
It is my greatest strength and Achilles heel.
exactly. And then you have so much air. If you look in the air up in this right there, it's A for air. And there's 4 planets there, which is a lot, which means
Yeah.
that your ability to study and learn, you similar to Margaret, you have a very strong appetite for the endless growth of consciousness.
Yes.
And because of your rising sign, once again, the soul is Aries, you're a little feisty thing. You must have a little bit of a temper.
I am feisty and I do have a mouth. I'm mouthy. And then my Mercury's in Gemini,
That's
so
right. So it just gives you freedom to say what you're thinking. And then just so you know, you're this month, here goes another one. You're in a change the last 2 months since March. What's the change that's going on?
um I moved about a year ago and I also got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis a year ago, and I'm finally feeling back in alignment after that.
Just turn the corner.
Yeah.
Just this month. So I'm just letting you know, it's so wonderful when we can use astrology. This is why we study, and it's so simple. And I'm not going to tell the code right now, but the short answer is your chart has a very beautiful indicator that you're a lover, like you care so much. The people are lucky enough to call you mom or sister or mother or wife, or who got so lucky, Sarah?
Oh, that's so kind. I do, my work is in equity, diversity, and inclusion. So I'm taking care of making sure everyone's,
Brilliant.
understanding the implement how they can impact people negatively or positively in the organization that I work
That's
in.
so double cancer. Thank you so much for doing that. Oh my God.
Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sarah, for being here. So beautiful to see a double cancer on the 0 degree point. That's hysterical. Yes.
Love that.
All
Up
that is to
next,
say, yeah, just before we go, all that is to say, when there's a change happening, it's obvious in the chart. Why do we study astrology? Because we want to know. In the book, you'll learn about Saturn cycles. In the school, you'll learn about the progressed moon. It's so simple for me to look at a chart. Look how fast that happened. Okay.
up next, we have Jennifer joining us.
Jennifer, Juniper lives upon a hill. Oh, and we have another air sign. Did anyone make this happen? Was this just natural, Lisa?
It's always very randomly picked, but like divinely designed. It always happens this
Double
way.
error. Sun in Libra, Moon in Gemini. Jennifer, do you know astrology?
Yes and no. I'm
That would be a
cosmic
no. That would
error.
be a no.
I
You can't do
read
that.
all kinds of things and remember only about half of it.
That's because you're error. Did you so relate to the description of error?
Yes.
Do you suffer from indecisiveness?
Yeah, I do.
And do you start things and not finish?
Really bad. I've got about 100 different creative projects I'm working on right now. And
So
I'll go and I'll do them for a while and then get
it's
distracted.
It's so amazing. It's almost like your quality control has to come from the compassion of not getting mad at yourself because you have a bad case of the critic. See Mercury, the guy with his hat on his head, right there? It's in
Mhm.
Virgo. So you have a critic who analyzes and turns on Jennifer if you're not careful.
Yeah, I'm a big perfectionist.
Yeah, and
And
that's how it shows up. And so careful.
most of what I turn out, if it's not perfect, I won't even show it to anybody.
And so what do you do? Because you must be so creative. What do you do with your hands?
Oh, I do all kinds of things. Make beaded jewelry, I do hemp
I knew
jewelry,
it.
I make wind chimes, I make
Constantly being creative.
yeah, it I cook in the kitchen. Sometimes I'll try different things. I love to go out and garden. I'm an amateur forager and I love to hike, and like if there's beauty about it, I can help it out. I went and decorated a friend of mine's daughter's wedding. Like I set up the whole thing, helped them purchase it,
You can
and
set
took it all down. It
This is
just
100% Gemini Libra. The level of creativity, you can take the chart down, the level of creativity, the level of helping other people. And don't forget to give yourself some kudos because the critic in you could undermine the generosity of your spirit, loving to make this whole world so much more beautiful.
mhm.
Everywhere
Yeah.
you go, you could be on the committee of beauty. That's what you do every day.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to try to see all the beauty because there's a lot of ugly. But if you focus more on the beauty, it's
Said the
a little
smart.
easier to deal with.
That's right. That's our job. You guys, one of the best ways to deal with politics right now is to find your happy place because there's so much pain and there's so much confusion and there's so much scariness. And then there's the joy factor of putting the flowers out or taking care of the kids, getting them cookies. Who knows? The silliest, smallest details of this life is what tickles me. Thank you, Jennifer. I hope we get to see you in the school and I hope you buy the book to get rid of your gremlin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, Deborah, even though, as I said earlier today, we're not immune to Mercury retrograde, so the giveaway tracking system is still down, but their team is working on it. We're still going to share the code with you all, so keep this in your back pocket for when it's back up. We'll send you an email and let you know when it's time to pop that in to get 5 extra bonus points.
I got so the 2 magic words are quiet love.
So beautiful.
I love that so much. Quiet love, the ability for the air signs to whisper in somebody's ear. I love you. I have one of my best friends was just here the other day. She's a Gemini. I collect them. And it just makes me cry. The love we can have for our family, friends, dogs, neighbors, grandpas, doesn't matter who it comes up in the shape of. It's just your job is to keep the aperture of your heart. Just keep opening it and opening it. And I love reading your notes. Some of you are in the end of a relationship. Some of you are just starting it back. Some of you love UFOs. I love that, Sharon. This is all air. The constant stimulation of everybody in this room, sharing all their different points of view, makes me happy. Yes, and that painting behind me is the beautiful story of a woman who is holding her light as the world cracks in half. How appropriate. Next slide. So tomorrow, we're another husband and wife team. We start in at 10 o'clock. First, there's going to be a comedian. Of course, there's a comedian who's here to tickle us. In the morning, I interview him. That's not live. That's a pre-recorded interview. Then comes Mark and Colette Barron-Reed, and they're a married couple who have done all the divination cards you have, Colette Barron-Reed's cards, and they're going to talk about the nature of working together. And once again, we're going to be inspired at the earth level of what does it take to make a partnership work, because this whole event is about partnership. And then later in the afternoon, it's two women, powerful fire signs. They're both so alive. And we're going to talk about how it is that powerful women can support powerful women without being scared. Because in the times of old, there was competition amongst women, which was so scary growing up as a teenager. And as we grew into maturity, now we just celebrate all the beauty and make it even better. So tomorrow we start at 8 o'clock in the morning is the interview. Then comes sorry, I don't know what time, but it's 11:11 in Hawaii. You'll have to look at the schedule, but it always starts with a pre-recorded interview, and then the last two sessions are live.
That's right. So 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. We also have a time conversion link in the emails when we send you a reminder. So if you're unsure of what that conversion is, you can just rely on that email to figure out what time that is for you in your world.
Okay, and now we get to have my favorite singer in the world. Is that true?
That's true, Deborah. We have such a special treat for you all.
Okay, so before that comes on, I just want to tell you a little bit more about Ash. Have Ash come on the screen. That it's
Hello there.
such a perfect
Yay, air.
it's such a perfect air story that we met at a funeral.
I know, I love that.
You
We
tell the
met at a
story.
funeral. Oh my goodness. Well, a dear beloved of ours um, decided to go and have a shift the green screen. And they asked two people to come and speak, and that would be Deborah and I. And I shared a
Didn't know each
poem.
other.
We didn't know each other at all. And Deborah put her phone in my face, and I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, who is this? Who is this firecracker of a human being? So
I
alive
never
and so
knew.
present." And then I got to hear you speak, and I was like, "Oh my God, I love this human. I am so excited about this human."
And let's just talk for a minute about honestly what it was, because it's so important. This beloved of ours, this friend took her life, and it was a very predicted event. She had told people it wasn't completely a shock, but she had gone through some really strong mental health challenges that Ash was the only person in her family that could handle being around her without him wanting to change her. She was totally, because this is what Ash teaches in the name of air. Let people have freedom and space to be who they are, and let's not impose. So after she passed, I lived with this thought, like she took her own life. And this is what I spoke to that day was what she taught us, her legacy was, how dare we think we have the right to judge the reason
Right.
that somebody might not want to be here. And that was her whole expression throughout her life, was she was an Aquarius rising, a total non-traditional, a badass. She swore all the time. Can we do human beautiful?
We can totally do human beautiful.
I think in honor of her, and maybe in exchange of that song, what I'm thinking about is I
Yeah.
want you guys to hear the words to this. Take this
Yes.
into your body in honor of this beautiful being that left us, who's so much happier on the other side. Can I say that? And take the words in of this poem. I think it's really going to touch you.
And I just feel her presence so strongly right now. And I love that, the song was inspired by her and inspired by her because she was so vulnerable and so human. So in that ways, the song was inspired by the human experience, this poem. And the poem says, human being, yes. Human becoming, that too, but mostly human beautiful. Human dreaming, human awakening, that too, but mostly human beautiful. You are in the arms of those who loved you the most, in the heart of the peace you held so dear. One with the wind you longed for, there's no horizon in your eyes. You are the endless sky, ever present, always here. Countless lives were touched by your light, and countless more were touched by your wounds. You gave permission for the ugliness we share to exist as beautiful to exist as lovable to exist as something worthy of a deep and honest welcome. Vulnerability truly was your superpower. No one has ever said the word fuck like you did. Fucking amazing, fucking wild, fucking beautiful. Oh my fucking God, I'm so grateful I got to meet you in the silence. That's the kind of meeting space no one can ever truly leave. Blessed to know our eyes met in the vast immediacy of a great mystery, somehow aware of itself now. Those moments are this moment. Those moments are this moment. And still the heart breaks at the thought that maybe for a moment you believe the rumor about anything anywhere being unacceptable or not enough. Oh, we've all been there. We've all been everywhere. And it just might happen that we frequent those distorted corridors again and again. Hold hands a bit tighter. Hold time a bit lighter. And breathe easy that even in the unimaginable hurt of an empty seat and an empty bed and an empty feeling in your chest, fullness dances to the tune of joy, befriending death. And all is well as we grieve. All is well. With these tears, all is well. Unanswered questions, all is well. And never picking up the pieces, all is well. Human being, yes. Human becoming, that too. But mostly human beautiful. Human dreaming, human awakening, that too, but mostly human beautiful, human breathing. Yes, human dying, that too, but mostly human beautiful, mostly human beautiful.
I just want to speak to when you hear a poem like that, when words become a healing balm, when you realize that whatever you're going through, I love reading the comments. It's so many stories. Her sister has mental illness and she doesn't know what to do. She just broke up with the relationship and she doesn't know if she'll ever open her heart again. She just fell in love and all the colors are getting brighter. These are the multiplicity of stories that occur. Every single person in this room, you've got a story. And what I want to give you as the gift of air is a little balloon that you hook onto your tummy and it lifts you up and out of the story. And once there's the acceptance, human beautiful, human dreaming, that too, and all the different colors in between are yours. When the mind is allowed to pause, that man behind you, what's his name again?
Ramana Maharshi.
Ramana
Either
Maharshi.
one.
I can't say his name, so I call him Charles.
Deborah calls him Charles.
Say his
And I got her a
name.
book where I crossed out his name and I wrote Charles.
What's his name? Ramahan, say it again.
Ramana Maharshi.
And these are the masters. I want to do this in the name of air. The reason why we study, the reason why we ask you to meditate, the reason why I want you to meet love stories. I'm in love with Ash Ruiz. We call each other our gay husband and wife. I don't care
I
about the
love our
sex.
lavender marriage.
And besides which, we have such compatibility. You know who your people are. It could be the dog that wags its tail as soon as it sees you. Where in your world, air, does your mind realize that you can get a little taller, come up, use the balloon, come out of your story, and give yourself back to human beautiful. No matter what the storyline is, and I guarantee there's a lot of stories in this room.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah, it's so
and
it's
you
such a
watching
good.
Garen and Blair and being there
Oh
for
my
that
goodness.
intensive.
Ah, so sweet, right? That was so, speaking of human beautiful, I mean, gosh, I mean, the moment we allow ourselves, every facet of ourselves, to be honest and hear and air it out in the sunshine, we cannot help but to fall in love with each other. Oh my goodness, we're all such medicine.
And I love in that poem how you say there, it's almost like the pain body that she carried became the gift that allowed her. And isn't this crazy?
Right,
We met
right.
each other because we were at a funeral, and how life can twist you around. Like if she hadn't passed away, that wouldn't have happened. And the chapter of Ash and I and the work we do together would never have occurred. So those mental constructs that you're all living with, I can never get over this. I'll never be able to heal. I'll never be able to be in relationship again. There's so much conversation about men
Oh my.
that breaks my heart. I love that what he said. Like, please don't take any credit for why men are so broken and make them wrong and judge them and criticize them. There's so few role models. But here's the
Mm.
date today. I can become a healthy male side, which means I know how to use my word, follow through, be consistent, be reliable, be the person that you. I love what he said. He said when he gave himself the invitation to be his daughter's good catch, like he wanted to
Oh,
be
I
a man,
love that. That's so sweet.
and it
Uh-huh.
changed everything. And then she appeared. You guys,
Powerful.
as women, we can do the same. No more. This will be a big, tall order in the name of air. Stop complaining from today till tomorrow. See if you can catch yourself when you say, it's true about the politicians, it's true about those boys, it's true about society, it's true about the government. What if we just took a day off and did like I'm going to stop that conversation.
Yeah, it's nice to take a moment to let everything off the hook. Let yourself off the hook, all the stories we have about each other. It's like we put each other in these boxes innocently, and we don't give this absolutely fresh moment a chance to reflect back the most brilliant parts of ourselves.
And you're brilliant, Ash Ruiz.
Oh.
How did you get like that? What happened to you?
Thank goodness my heart's been broken so many times. And that what's the best thing about a heart breaking open is that that's what it does. It breaks open. And this openness, all the light floods through, all the joy floods through, and all the compassion floods through. Oh my goodness, we're all so innocent and so
Talk
precious.
about that. What do you mean by we're all so innocent?
What I mean is that, we live in this world of all these rumors that have been passed down, these unquestioned assumptions. We have so much debris in our consciousness about what we think is real, who we think we are, what we think people are. We think everything's personal. We're always the victim, blaming everyone, and that's so innocent because we don't know there's other options. When I stepped off of that helicopter in Peru, those moments are this moment, but 1,000 years ago, I realized that, oh, I thought I lived in a world. But I noticed that the world that I thought I lived in was my story of the world, my superimposed grid, my matrix of the world. And when you live in that matrix, you no longer see who's in front of you. You see your own story. And so in seeing your own story, you don't even know that it's a story. You don't know it's a projection. And people end up doing crazy shit. And that's what I mean by innocent. It's an innocence. Doesn't mean that we don't hold people accountable, doesn't mean that we don't explore ways of rehabilitating souls and beloveds, but to be able to recognize, oh wow, this beloved has no clue who they are, that's total misidentification they've got going on. And because they're in misidentification, they don't know who they are, they don't know who you are. And in that, you don't see the holiness, you don't see the purity, you don't see the beauty, you don't see the potential, you don't see the already present infinite aliveness that is the truth of every soul in existence. Namaste isn't just for yoga studios. Namaste is for every moment. Namaste isn't just for a bumper sticker on a Prius. Namaste is for every moment and not just to others. Namaste is real for our thoughts. Oh, yes. I say namaste to my emotions. I say namaste to my
What does
body.
namaste mean?
The light in me, the awareness in me, the infinity, what's real in me recognizes and greets that which is true, that which is alive, that which is pure, that which is beautiful in you. Mhm.
He makes me want to cry.
Me
What if
too.
the whole world, what if the whole world, like you saw Garen today, you're seeing Ash today, you heard that human beautiful. What if we all, I'm not kidding. This is the invitation, what my book is about, what my life's work is about, taking my classes, coming to our school. It's just actively choosing to not believe the rumor. When he said that the first time, I was like, uh-oh, I've been living by, I have a whole bunch of rumors. Like what you think about, so I can give you concrete examples. So somebody isn't being nice to you and you feel like you're being a victim, and then suddenly they weren't being nice to you. It was true. And then you get to change the narrative. As soon as the awareness comes on and you go, oh, they're having a hard day and they sprayed it on me and I took it personally. That's what happens whenever I'm with Ash. As soon as I get my feelings hurt or something goes wrong, he's always there saying, beloved, it was just a rumor. So if you really do your inner work, somebody hurt you, somebody broke your heart, you can't figure out what to be, you feel like your energy's down. This is the day under this moon in Taurus. It just moved into Gemini, by the way, just this minute. You guys, it's
Woohoo!
it's 1 degree Gemini. The moon just changed energies right now. Poof. So all of us are feeling the freedom in the name of air. How do you want to end this, Ash?
Gonna have a good time. There's a party over here. And the DJ's pumping my flavor for your ears. So come on and enjoy yourself, cause life's a mystery. We do down. Let nature sing, let nature sing. Joy, joy. Joy, 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 joy. When I think about air, I think about joy, joy. When I think about my beloved friend Deborah Silverman and the book that's coming out that's gonna shift so many hearts and so many minds. Oh, I feel that joy, 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 joy.
Oh, thank you so much, Ash, Ash, Ash. Look at all the people. Amen. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Ash. The moon is just is it 2 degrees? Did someone just say that? We just moved into Gemini. This is the rest of your day, Tuesday, wherever you are in the world. Joy, joy, joy. If anything's standing between you and joy, it's a rumor. It's a decision.
Okay.
It's a decision. It's a decision. Like, okay, I'm
Yes.
doing this thing. I'm watching Deborah Silverman and Ash Ruiz and Blair Jones and Garen Jones, and they're doing a joy game. I'm going to jump on board. Come on over.
There's always enough room on the joy train.
Okay. Anything we need to add before we go? That was so beautiful.
And that's it. Just that we need Ash for every single event we do from here
For the
on
rest
out
of
for
our
the
life.
perfect closing, because you're just an angel.
Love
He
you, Lisa.
is. He
Love you
is.
too.
He's an angel.
Mm.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And to all of our guests, we'll come back and see you tomorrow for our first event, which is a Wisdom Watch Party at 8 a.m. Pacific. Deborah?